Camberhouse.
Give me my respect.
Welcome to Camberhouse.
You're now rocking with the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Camberhouse podcast, episode number 3 for the year.
3. Look at us go.
Today's kind of a special one. It is with Neil Barnard, the PR officer for the Rally Barbados and Barbados Rally Club.
That's right. Yeah, we had a good chat with Neil. You guys are going to enjoy it. He gave us some pretty interesting little nuggets. Some big changes for Rally Barbados, some small changes, but
For
all
sure.
good changes.
All pretty exciting.
We talk about the new name, the BCIC Rally Barbados.
2024.
That's right.
Yeah. New sponsor.
Yeah.
Some big changes to the layout and the running order,
Yeah.
which is going to be pretty exciting.
It was a good one. You guys want to stay locked in for the whole thing, trust me. Especially at the end, because then he just randomly drops another secret on us. And I'm not going to tell you what, no, you got to watch it.
So without further ado,
Thank you to CIBC for bringing this episode to us. Make sure you check CIBC Caribbean out for all your personal or business banking needs. Let's get into the episode.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Camberhouse podcast. We have a resident friend on the show, Mr. Neil Barnard, a PR manager at Rally Barbados, also wears many hats for the Rally Club. Neil, awesome to see you. Firstly, congrats on last year's event. I thought it was a fantastic event. Obviously, very close battle is what we like to see. How did it go for you? And then we can work in towards this year, because I know you have some news for us, and to talk through what's going on with Rally. So, how was last year?
Last year, I think for us as organized, last year was really good. For me personally, I guess it was a mixed bag at times. We have very, very high expectations now, to be quite honest. So when even something relatively minor goes wrong, it's like, how the hell did that happen, and why did it happen, and how can we fix it as quickly as possible? But by and large, it was quite an astonishing event. In terms of on time, it's a bit mind-boggling. I think the latest we ever ran any one stage was about 6 minutes. I'm not sure that's repeatable. There was some luck involved there for sure. But in saying that, yeah, I mean, it was a successful event. I mean, you're right. I mean, the competition.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, jeez.
Yeah.
Go down to the last stage and.
Yeah, what was it? Less than a second?
Or just over a second.
Maybe?
Yeah,
Second,
something 1.8 or something. I can't remember,
That's
but it was tight.
From a competition perspective,
Yeah.
it was phenomenal.
You couldn't want
Really
from
was
where.
phenomenal.
And the stages were packed. I mean, there were lots of people who came out to support the event last year.
Oh yeah, I mean, from the time we left for Citizens King of the Hill, we were like, all right, we have a different dynamic on our hands here in terms of what to expect from a spectator attendance perspective, and that was really good. That was good to see numbers that I haven't actually, the overall impression I haven't seen now since kind of the mid 2000s.
Okay.
And that's been interesting. That's been interesting to see it kind of climb back to that number. Yeah, we're definitely out of the pandemic, and people are kind of out watching around.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was sick.
Yeah,
I mean, and I think Rally Barbados is always such a staple. And I mean, I've told you privately before, and I'm happy to say it publicly too. Obviously, all the work that you guys have put into this rally and what you've built over the 30, what number are we on now?
Something like that. Yeah, I get it.
Or 30 something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a
it's a good
proper flagship event. I think competitors enjoy it, and like certainly for as a spectator and now being involved in what we do, like it's always just so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, the sophistication of running the event has completely changed for sure. I mean, I've been involved in it for a while now, and actually, I have a meeting to go to, which involves discussing some of the structural setup, like command trees and what we've put into place as a club, how we do things, who responds to who. All of that is stuff that was started a while ago by Barry Gale, our current clerk of the course, and will be clerk of the course this year. But I actually found the original documents, and it was like 2010. And I found them today. I was looking through, and I found descriptions for like what the clerk of the course is supposed to do, what a stage commander is supposed to do. And all of that has definitely fed into certainly where we are now and what we do. And it's a very different proposition. Mm-hmm. Very, very different proposition. Even it was 5 years ago, it's a different proposition. To how we approach the event, the detail which we look at from an executional perspective, from a planning perspective, It's very much a changed dynamic.
Yeah.
Is there anything that, and I don't want to be skipping ahead too much, but is there anything that you would change personally about how it's set up, or anything to do with the rally that you would personally change at this point? Or anything you...
Other than get your governments to pave all your roads?
I think people outside of motorsport want that to happen regardless.
I think I'm really happy with where we are.
Yeah.
The systems that we use. So obviously it starts with human resource, right? So the people that we have working now on the event are all fantastic. We formed a competitions subcommittee basically beginning of last year to deal with some human resource issues that we're having internally in the rally club. And that's worked spectacularly. And we've expanded that from the original 6 or 7 people this year to almost 10. And they deal with a lot of the planning of the event itself. So it's not just me, obviously. Mm-hmm. I make lists and then try hard to delegate. But that's worked really well. Our overall committee management have assisted. And then all the different aspects of what we plug into the event has changed, right? So Rally Safe has been a huge step forward for us. Yeah. And it is literally the Rolls-Royce system that the European Rally Championship and the World Rally Championship use. But in saying that, our backup systems have improved. So the systems that we use for national rallies are what they use in the British Open Rally Championship.
Right.
And those systems are supported by the same people that support those systems in the UK.
Right.
And that's been really good having that. And then the guys that work with those systems here on an ongoing basis, John Croney, they have developed better knowledge of how those systems work and how we work with that stuff and delivering results. So from a safety perspective, our approach to stage setup, dealing with notifications, that's all improved. The efficiency of the events have improved. Mm-hmm. And with that efficiency has meant that the events themselves have better reception from traveling public and so on. And if we can run them efficiently, we can then create tighter scheduling for road closures. All of that helps. And all of that emanates from, people doing the right thing and understanding what it is supposed to be doing. It's just one big management exercise, to be quite honest, from an organizational perspective.
Yeah.
But then we touched on it earlier, 2 other huge factors, fans coming back out, which then fuels how private sector views the event in terms of investment. Mm-hmm. Fans out, it's a good market, let's get in there. And then the competitors, and I know we'll talk about that. We've just been freaked out.
Yeah.
What's happened over the last year in terms of the development of the local competing base, mm-hmm. and where that is this year, I know what to tell you.
Yeah.
It's mental.
Yeah.
I haven't seen local numbers like this entered for our national events ever. Literally ever. You have to go back to Bushy Park in the early 70s to see this kind of...
What do you put that down to? Just the growth of the sport in general, or...?
I think there's definitely that's part of it, for sure. From a rallying perspective, this is slightly controversial, but I think that because there's not been a lot of circuit racing, some people have looked at rallying as basically a way to go and get their motorsport fixed, so to speak, and building cars towards it. Yeah. So we've definitely benefited from that. I'm not sure what will happen if racing. Hopefully. Yeah. I'm a fan and enthusiast of everybody else. Yep. If it gets back on its feet and is able to develop properly again, that would be fantastic. But at the moment, that's definitely had an effect. And I also do think that the quasi-professional way, certainly our club, the Rally Club, has approached events has definitely helped. Yes, you still want to maintain that it's fun and it's reasonably relaxed within as safe an environment as you can make it. But at the end of the day, not having to wait an hour for stages to start and so on makes a big difference in how you enjoy your rally. It does.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Does that lead us on to this weekend, BRC Shakedown stages? You have a big list of entrants for this one, and I guess they have to, right, in order to get into Rally Barbados. Is that the rule?
Only if you have not competed before.
Right, okay.
So we do have quite a few rookies this year. I have not seen the final entry list yet.
Okay.
They told me I need to print 50 numbers. So we'll see where that ends up.
50 for Shakedown is...
Yeah, that's good numbers.
That's big.
Yeah. We haven't seen an entry north of 50. And I don't remember an entry north of 50 for Shakedown.
Yeah, that's huge.
Excited for this weekend?
Yeah, man.
Shake off some of that rust before the big one.
Yeah, it really is for us as well as organisers and the stage commanders and all the crews, the timing, results, safety, all of that. It is a shakedown as well. So it's like, okay, we know what we're doing. Let's just put it into practice.
Yeah.
The choice of stages and the route also is we're careful not to do anything that's too kind of mental. Last year we said that, and on the very first stage they had about 4 inches of rainfall in Sailor Gully in the space of about
It was awful. It was awful.
It was mental. So there's certain things that you can obviously never predict. You just try and plan for it as much as possible.
Yeah.
Good. Moving on to what I can call is officially the BCIC Rally Barbados.
Yeah, BCIC Rally Barbados.
You guys have a new name.
Yeah, we have a new name.
Seems everybody has a new name. We have a new name.
It's true.
It's the year of new names.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Neil, talk to me about BCIC and, you know, maybe how this all came about and whatnot.
Huge thanks, first of all, to the BKMI, who basically put us together with Richard Haynes, who I've known for a long time.
Yep.
And Richard helps me out with, you know, securing sponsors for events and running stuff. And we set up some meetings, and we had some proposals, some presentations. And what was really good about all of that was the general recognition of the event. Everybody, we didn't have to explain the event to anybody. And this is not just locally, this is regionally. That was really good. Very, very encouraging. You sometimes think you're operating in a vacuum sometimes. So that was really good. And yeah, these folks, they're based in Jamaica, general insurance company, with a high focus on home and motor for sure. And they're looking to expand their business, particularly here in Barbados.
Yeah.
So for them, it was the fit was good and the timing was good. And it has happened very fast. I mean, we have
kind of had to, right?
Yeah. It kind of had to, but these are. I mean, I'm talking about, you know, in terms of the overall what we've been doing, these pitches and proposals we've been doing, really only been happening over the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Before then, we had some interest from 1 or 2 parties, but it tended to drag on in certain instances. So you kind of get a feel for who's, you know, really serious about trying to go after or not. But for them, it's definitely been a good fit. So that's been really good.
This may get edited out later, but I got to ask the question of, with Saul, did you know that this was coming to an end, or was it just something that happened out of the blue? I know sponsorship is kind of a tough thing in our sport, but did you have an idea? Did they give you a heads up?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, we've had such a positive, really incredible relationship over 15 years.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's been 5 3-year contracts, and they have helped promote and build the event to where it is, and that type of security, having that foundation and a long-term sponsor. Well, you guys know, I mean, you can't beat it.
No.
So no, they gave us quite a bit of notice as to what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I think initially we kind of we kind of went on the wrong road to start with, and then recognized that we needed to open it out further.
Right.
And that's when we really started to see a lot more interest. And invariably, it came from regional companies with a footprint in Barbados.
Right.
Not to say that local companies weren't interested.
Yeah.
But it's a big commitment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is, especially so late in the game, so to speak. But I mean, as far as much as you're willing to share, I mean, the last 2.5, 3 months have been particularly stressful for you and the team that deal with this side of it, right?
That would be an understatement.
I mean, because you guys were in a position where you have this massive event that comes with a lot of expectations, and you're in a difficult position.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the irony of all of it is that coming out of last year's event, we knew that we were going to have a better overseas, so regional and international interest in the event. It's likely to be a hugely increased entry. That was the first thing.
Yeah.
And then we had a suspicion about local cars based on what we saw building and so on and so forth. And then, of course, the reception that we've had from our partners on the ground has been good. So we were like, you know what? 2024 is going to be probably going to be a little off the hook. Then to have to deal with obviously a title sponsor who decided that their time was done, and again I can't knock anything, right? It's just so appreciative for the support they've lent the club over the years and the event. But yeah, it's been action. I can't tell you not. It's been action, because you're right. There's no way now you can wait to plan this event until 2 months beforehand. And the last time we had to deal with that was when it was 22, when we're coming out of the pandemic. And I remember getting the green light from government 7 weeks before the event.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that.
I swear to God, we weren't ever dealing with that again. That was total madness.
Yeah.
So all of what we have done since last December, when we announced entries opening, has been, working towards routes and human resources and other sponsors and timing and entries and putting out information and the whole 9 yards. And that's not anything that you could wait on. So yeah, you're kind of sitting on your hands, right? For the last 5-6 months thinking something got to happen. Because I know where but you have to keep going. You can't stop and worry about it. Well, you can worry about it, you can't stop.
And you have a day job too, so.
That's a whole nother level of action. That's the other problem, is that as a professional, I know you all know. You all know, whether y'all's listeners or viewers know, I'm a graphic designer, and I've been busy. Yeah. Outside of this lunacy, so that's been. I know what to tell you.
Correct.
Yeah. But somehow you make it work. You find the time, you make it happen, and it.
Right. I think your work ethic is very something to be commended, Neil. So about Raleigh.
Me, I all help. That's the truth.
You're just the voice and the face. Yeah.
I heard a rumor that there's north of 100 entrants maybe this year.
There is.
Okay.
We are very much oversubscribed.
How does that work logistically now? Or you're about to find out?
So the biggest issue with that, honestly, is logistics. How to put this? So there is a whole protocol.
Yeah.
The entry is supposed to be capped at 100. We're north of 100, into the teens.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
What's a few more?
Well, see, this is it, right? That is as an enthusiast, right? As a fan, that's the first thing I think. That's my go-to. Is was a few more.
Yeah.
But then when you start to actually study, okay, hold on a second. Where am I putting 100 rally cars or 110 rally cars plus service vehicles plus extra vehicles in a service park? Where am I putting all that? Where am I putting 250, 280 vehicles? Where can hold that number of vehicles? And it then becomes a real logistical exercise. Like you start thinking, well, hold on a second, I can't start the rally here anymore because there's not enough room. Literally, there's not enough space to put this much competition cars. There just isn't. So all of that starts to factor in how you approach your route. And we knew, Clive Howell set the route with me this year together, lots of support and advice from my subcommittee. And I think we knew that we had a bumper entry in our hands, and we approached the route setting very aggressively from that perspective. And I don't think there's a single stage on this event where we have not moved the finish, the start, or the check-in controls or stop controls. They've all been lengthened, moved, allowed for more space, all of that before the entries closed.
Does that shorten the stage itself? In some
instances, no.
Okay.
In some instances, yes. Okay. So we've had to move things, and we've basically used slightly different routes to give ourselves more room. It doesn't necessarily make the transit longer. We just had to approach it differently. It's like, okay, well, this is where we normally do it. No, we can't do it here anymore.
Yeah.
We have to provide another 100 meters worth of space.
Yeah. I mean, most, I shouldn't say most, but some fans may not know because they don't go to the start of a stage, but especially at Rally Barbados, when we're going to start some stages and there's 40 plus cars lined up just in arrival waiting. I mean, you don't think about having cars. Yeah, exactly. You don't think about having to accommodate these things. People park, drink drinks, wait for cars to turn up. Yeah. But like, there's so much that happens. Yeah. So I suppose, yeah, I guess a few extra does make a difference, is what you're basically trying to tell
A
us.
few extra. No, it's true. I mean, I can't recall running any more than about 94, 96 cars. I think that was on a rally probably mid-teens, somewhere around there. Like when Meek was here, like
Thanks.
2008, 2009, and then maybe again in the teens, like 12, 14, somewhere around there. Maybe. Starting over 100 cars, never happened. Never happened before.
Percentage of local to international.
We have 70 local entries.
Jesus.
That's mad.
70?
Yeah.
Absolutely mad.
70. Okay.
70 cars from Barbados.
From Barbados.
Madness.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, and neither do I really, to be honest.
70?
It makes sense that 50 are happening at Shakedown now, that there's 70 in Rally Barbados.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously these would be spread across all the varying groups and whatnot, but that 70 local entrants, and as far as I know, because I haven't heard different, there's no Hayden Padden coming.
Not at the moment, no. No. So Kyle, he can sit. he can relax the entire.
If you don't know what that reference is to, watch the last podcast.
Yeah, watch the last
okay.
podcast with Kyle Gregg.
Yeah, Kyle, great.
Well, that's good too, because it means our boys will get a chance. This will be the Rally 2 boys.
Yeah, I mean,
or the Beijing boys, in general, but Rally 2 boys.
Correct.
and it doesn't, it's not a takeaway from what's likely to be, hopefully a very, very well contested event for sure.
Yeah.
But at the moment, no, there's no international superstar coming at the moment.
Okay. Watch this space, everybody.
Nah, I'm teasing. I don't see that. We have lots of interest.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Lots of interest. Some real quick people who want to come and do this rally.
Yeah.
But as usually the case, majority of them don't own their own cars. So getting a car here or renting one, so on and so forth, it's an expensive exercise. I mean, north of $100,000 put together a deal to come and
Correct.
ship a car in and do a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we talk about the stages themselves and the setup for Rally this year?
Sure.
Give us the goodies. You got a new title sponsor. What new things are you giving us this year as fans?
I can give you some broad strokes.
No, we want specifics.
I can give you some broad strokes. So the biggest change, I think, is that we're flipping the days. So
Flipping the days.
Flipping days. So the stages that would normally occur on Saturday are being done on Sunday. The stages that normally occur on Sunday are being done on Saturday.
So the fast stages are going to be on Saturday, and the
That's
more
right.
technical
We're
stuff
in
is going to
St.
be on
George,
Sunday.
St. John, St. Philip on
So
Saturday.
the likes of Kendall,
Yep.
which I assume is going to be making a reappearance.
Yep.
Because
In a
that's like a
different
fixed.
configuration.
Fair
Okay.
enough. But so those stages are now happening Saturday.
Yep.
Hold on, but you jumped to Saturday. Do we get a Friday night opening?
We do get a Friday night opening, and there are going to be 3 stages on Friday night.
Praise the Lord.
Okay,
Wait.
now we're talking.
Listen,
And they're going to be anchored at Bushy Park. So the plan is to visit Bushy Park twice,
Just inside, or are we coming from out to in?
out to in.
yes.
Okay. All right, we're talking.
This
now.
makes me so happy.
Yeah, we're
This
talking
makes
now.
me so happy.
So very much.
So 2 passes in Bushy Park itself.
Yeah. And the idea there is to definitely give spectators basically a bang for the buck.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be fully floodlit, superb, obviously atmosphere to come and see the cars, and you get to see them a second time.
But you're not. This is obviously not in a head-to-head configuration.
No.
This will be done like a stage.
Yeah.
Right. So 30
Yeah.
seconds apart and go.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because when we did the
So, but you'll have multiple cars in vision at the same time then.
yeah.
Right.
But it's interesting because when we did the schedule for it, and we actually worked out the times, the 3 stages will end up running faster than the 1 side by side we did last year.
Really?
Yeah. But that's not that.
So they'll run Bushy Park.
Go to another stage.
Which, can you tell us what that is?
Not yet.
Damn it. Are you sure? Because we'll wait to release
It's
this
close,
until you can
but
tell
no.
us. No. All right, fine. So they'll do Bushy Park. Then they're going to go and drive an actual stage out on your road
Once.
once
And then come back.
and do a
Bushy Park.
second run at Bushy
Yeah.
Park. I think competitors will be happy about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
I'd
honestly,
say
and also, who cares whether they like it or not?
No, I
I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
I hope so. The idea is to basically, if you're going to be out for 3 hours on Friday night, well, let's do some
Make it
mileage.
worthwhile.
We actually planned to do this in 2020,
Right.
but the event fell
COVID.
through because of COVID,
Yeah.
and we ended up obviously running a much truncated event in October of that year.
Yep.
But this was actually on the plans. I remember the whole idea of trying to do this, but it got shelved quickly when COVID.
I mean, I've told you at least 10 times in person before how fired up we are with Friday night starts to Bushy Park. I
Yeah.
think it's just such a good way to create atmosphere and like,
But your part
Just-
Friday night would be lit. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's, and again, twice through the stage. You know, for drivers as well, you get to do it once, and then second time, all right, now you're in a groove.
Yeah.
and now we're building real story with battles from Friday night.
Yeah.
Correct.
We're not going into Saturday saying, oh, well, who cares? Because they just did one pass through a super
Right.
special and
Which
like
is
the
like
real business happens.
Zane.
Like,
Well, we had a good story last year with Zane winning the Bushy Park.
True.
Part.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you remember.
Yeah.
yeah.
So everyone was fired up going into Saturday.
That's very true. Maybe a
Yeah,
little too
then he
fired up.
bended on the first, second
Maybe we
stage.
got too excited. But yeah, I mean, it creates good story from Friday night into Saturday morning start. I mean, that's amazing. And watching at night is nice too because it's not disgustingly hot.
No. And I said Bushy Park will definitely, because it's lit,
Yeah.
being floodlit, will be proper, absolutely proper.
Sweet. Get ready for Friday night, people.
Yeah, that's cool. The Saturday and Sunday stages, anything you can tell us, anything different you're doing? You just said about the switching days, but the stages themselves, any changes, anything you want to throw in?
They're quite similar to last year in terms of last year's Sunday route, but quite a few of them, there are changes within those. So there's some running a different direction, and some that are slightly reconfigured. But the locations will be largely the same.
Okay. Very good. So, and then, we'll embargo this until you tell us we can release it. You know, don't hold back. We'll sit on this episode until you tell us. And then, so Saturday, and then Sunday stages.
Sunday stage, we're going north, which is the last time we did Sunday stage on the north was in 2020 when Cam was here.
Cam was here, yeah.
And that's going to be interesting because, of course, those are all the technical stages. So, again, similar to last year, but some reversal of direction
Okay.
and some changes again. There's one in particular.
Can you tell us what we're seeing? I don't mean like the stages. Can you give us what stages are going to be running on Saturday? Sunday, sorry, or both?
Look, you can put him to the sword here. He's trying to confirm. Go.
Yeah. Well, there's some stuff. There's some stuff at this stage where we're still, the route's all done, but there's some stuff we're kind of hedging our bets on. One or two things we may lengthen or shorten depending on road repairs and what happens over the next couple of weeks.
Fair enough.
So I can give you general locations.
General areas is fine.
On Saturday, Malvern, Kendall, Three Houses.
Yes, those are good.
Nice.
I like the three houses stage.
And I said in some cases either reverse direction or different configuration.
Right, and there'll be 9.
9, 3, 3, and 3. On Sunday, Darhole.
Sick.
I
Back
love
in there.
I love.
We
It's
got
so hot.
a good spot down in there.
It's so hot down there, but I love it.
Orange Hill, Sailor Gully, and Pickering.
Pickering, amazing.
So yeah.
That's a good mix. I like that reversal. That is interesting because you know what happens in the past with what happens on Saturday and then what happens on Sunday.
Correct.
I know you're flipping it, and I think that is gonna
Correct.
make for some interesting stories.
Well, what he's telling us is Dane will have like a 20-second lead going
You don't
into
know
the
what's
Sunday.
gonna happen. buddy.
I don't know about that.
You don't know.
I know, we'll
You
see.
don't know.
I think that, we had talked earlier about what y'all had asked me what I thought has definitely enhanced local competing. And without question, the introduction of the R5 Now Rally 2 Championship for sure, and the explosion of those cars on the island, as well as Bimaka.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so many of them now.
But in addition, I'm also, the two of the things have been, key to obviously developing a local competing base. But I have been pleasantly surprised by the number of cars now that have been built for the other classes. To the point whereby the dominant class for BCIC Rally Barbados 2024 is SM2.
So that would be the likes of
like
Barry and
This
Rogers
is-
group.
yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I've heard some chat
Come on.
No, not about any cars specific. I mean, I know there's some guys that are building cars that I believe are going in that group. But I've heard chat of, some other people that are going to be making the step up into that group. That group is always an interesting one.
Always an interesting one.
That's what Horatio would go into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been good because that for a long time has formed the bedrock of our local competing base.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Is cars built, by local enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And it definitely is healthy is the word to use for sure.
Yeah.
Healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's good. I mean,
It is.
Nothing wrong.
And you see what's happened now is that it's all balanced out, right? You've got all the classes so well represented.
Yeah.
Like really well represented, depending on what budget you have over a period of time or not, or interest. And it's quite astonishing.
It is. I mean, you got the Bimma Cup, which would be like, let's call it entry level. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Rally 2, which pretty much sits at the top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
And then you've got all the SM2 cars that
we're giving some of our boys a run for their money too.
on some stages, for sure. Those cars they're capable.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I mean, Rally Barbados is a long rally.
It is.
But
and it's going to be interesting to see for the shakedown what that looks like as well. Because quite a few of the hot shots will be out for shakedown for sure from a two-wheel drive perspective. And then, of course, we have excellent, I suspect we'll have an excellent entry for Rally 2. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear a lot of some overseas competitors will be in that class too. Rally show.
Yeah.
Bushy Park again?
Bushy Park again.
Okay, on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And then that takes us to King of the Hill, which is...
Same location.
Is it? You're running the same stage again?
We're going to be repeated.
I like that stage.
Yeah, I like the
stage.
That was a good one.
We've shifted some stuff, so it's actually going to be starting further along the course, but finishing later on the course.
So are they still climbing up the hill by the shop and all that? Okay, good, because that's like some...
Yeah, we moved the start forward by maybe 500 meters for the same issue.
Oh,
cars.
okay.
Number of cars.
Right.
But then we haven't shortened it, we've just lengthened it. So we just moved it forward the other 500 meters, half a kilometer the other way.
Okay.
So the finish now is further on. It should be good. From our perspective, we've had to approach that much earlier than we did last year in terms of planning. And there's going to be a lot more, there's been a lot more thought gone into the infrastructure of that event and planning for things like parking and spectators and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Okay.
So that's literally being worked on now. I mean, we're still, about 5 weeks out from the event, and that's all happening. It actually has been happening for the last 2 or 3 weeks in terms of things being cut, swiped, rolled, graded.
Sweet.
It's one of my favorite events. Just a one-day shootout. I love it.
Yeah, same. I love it too.
It's a good
and
one.
that stage last year was amazing, so I'm glad that it's being repeated.
Yeah.
Are you putting the chicane back in?
Yes.
Coming down to...
There's two of them. Oh, it's not one. It's two.
Just one.
It's one?
it was just the one.
It was
It was just one.
Right.
Just curious.
Going up. Right. Okay. What were my other questions?
I want to know what else you have. Is there? I mean, so you've given us the days being flipped. What else? What other, are there any other goodies that you want to share? It's not about giving us. This is for everybody.
I think honestly, Jeremy, I think for us is you want to keep making changes, right? To keep the event reasonably fresh, based on the fact that we have a limited number of places that we can go and rally here on the island anyway. But you do want to try and make some changes to give the guys a challenge. I think the flip days is a major one.
Yeah.
Particularly in terms of your mental approach to the event itself, and having done it myself as a competitor a few times. You have to study out now. Okay, it's just a different mindset. Actually, it took me ages when we were doing the route to start referring to the stages on the one day as opposed to the other.
Yeah.
Like, okay, hold on. Kendall's not running on Sunday. Kendall's running on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Whilst we make the changes, we're very cautious as well not to make too many changes. Then gives us something which we don't think we can manage or handle, which is so unusual that it might interfere with us trying to execute a successful event. So we'll go so far and not so far. And I'm a bit cautious from that regard in terms of where I would steer the event. there are lots of people that I work with that tell me, man, Barnard, man, I know what you're talking about. We need that stage battle, what you all ran in 2018, that started in Sailor Gully and finished in Diamond Corner. Oh my God. Well, that almost, that was like I think I have PTSD when I think about that stage, but it's one of those things that even when I was watching that, I mean, it's close to 9 kilometers, whatever it was, on a Friday night. But obviously we attempted to run it back to back. Bad idea. Fellas waiting 2 hours to try and drive it again.
Correct.
Literally 8,000 people turned up on one corner. It was, but I remember standing in Diamond Corner, and just the atmosphere was electric. I got goosebumps. It was electric standing up there with what was going on in Diamond Corner Village, and everybody's house had a party, and the cars coming through at night, and then when you heard some of the times that were going down, I mean, it's like legend, for instance, Jeffrey Panda pulling out whatever the lead he was that he pulled out that Friday night. Just, it was startling. Mm-hmm. And Dane Skeet, who at the time was driving the Peugeot, it was mental. Yeah. It was absolutely mental. And we got a lot of grief, right, for the delays and all the confusion that happened. But of course, now it's looked back on with like rose-tinted glasses. Right. Yeah. It's like, you need to bring me out that stage. And I'm like, you need to bring me out that stage? Somebody else will bring me out that stage, not me.
That's how I feel about
2 o'clock in the morning, maybe, we'd run it.
Yeah.
There you go. We always say if there was one thing we could do with Rally, it'd be to do something in town or something like.
That's a dream.
So we've.
If it's not Rally Bobby, if it's something we could do,
like a super special.
I saw the chatter. I saw the chatter leading up to it, and to tell you the truth, we've discussed it, particularly in the teens, more than once. So pre-pandemic, like every year it comes up in terms of planning meetings. Should we do something in town? Let's look at it. It's this and that, and then it's like
too much headache.
You literally have to create an event within an event. So not even a super special type thing. It would have to be a whole different planning committee, with just the entire thing would you'd almost have to approach it like another Rally Barbados, literally. I'm not. That's not exaggeration. Yeah. Honestly, the amount of money power. He's glitching. Yeah, seriously, it's just not straightforward. Yeah, it's just not straightforward at all. Would it be spectacular? Absolutely. Oh. And we have the route in our mind, right? Yeah. We already did it one year.
Well, I think David Williams. We had a chat with David Williams about this, and he was saying I think they tried it. I don't know if they tried it, but I think he told me that they had a route or something.
A Sun and Stars, I think it was finished. They had a very short stage that was out near the shallow draft. So
yeah,
the road that connects from Kensington Oval past the Sugar Bond, and then they did a U-turn and a 180 in the road, had a hairpin and went back the other way. And I don't know if you ever see any video of that. It's like, oh my God, is this Group B? Like, what the hell?
Chaotic. It's just people. It's
where is the crowd control?
Yeah.
And that wasn't anything to do with, no slight on the NCBI. Yeah. None at all. It was just that this is what is going to happen if you run a stage in town. Yeah. And you can put in as much
barricades
preppage as you want. But if all the people empty out from the nearby vicinities to come and watch the stage, which they would do, why not? I would too. Then you got a problem. Yeah. So you have to approach it like logistically. That would give me a headache on its own.
God, but it would
be
so good.
It would be amazing.
It would be so good. I would love to do that. You set some like bleachers up in Hero Square or something, and like
exactly
let the boats pull up in the
yes,
mini Monaco.
Come on, yes.
You never say never.
Monaco and the Caribbean. Let's go.
Never say never. But I think that we've had such a tumultuous time over the last 3 or 4 years with the event. What with pandemic 2020, running a truncated event, having it had to be delayed, figuring out what we were doing, then losing 21, trying to rebuild 22 with no time to do it. So when we were green lit from government. And then last year was really the first year, honestly, the first year that we felt, we some daylight here. And our title sponsor backs out. Or doesn't renew rather.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my goodness gracious me.
So next year.
Well, no, right? We try and deliver.
No, I'm only joking.
Try to deliver.
No, I know it's been rough.
And for us, it continues to be such a learning process. It really has. we've reached out more and connected more with people overseas who run, international and national championships. I have personally went to 2 events last year, seeing and literally sat in rally control and saw people doing stuff on rounds of various championships overseas. That has been invaluable. I've competed overseas, so I mean, from that perspective, and I follow motorsport clearly, but also liaising and talking with people who are involved in the sport at a very high level. Ian Campbell, who's the manager of the European Rally Championship, offered me some advice. Charlie Jukes and his brother, who are instrumental in running Rally Ceredigion, which is now being formed, now has gained a slot in the European Rally Championship. And Charlie, who came to compete here in a Valve Proton and left with a legion of fans back in, I think it was 2000. Chat with him, what they're doing, and of course Paul Nagel, who came last year.
Yeah.
Who was such a huge help
In what way?
And influence.
In what sort of way?
Paul, being a professional co-driver on WRC for as long as he was, he has had, his experience is unparalleled in terms of experiencing rallies and what good rallies are and how they run and what happens to make them not run well. So his understanding in terms of that and being in the thick of it, because he didn't actually, so our team ran the rally, Paul assisted on the ground in terms of ensuring that certain things were done, communications were kept going, timing was adhered to and respected, and that everyone who, because we're all on a time crunch, right? The whole thing is one big time crunch.
Yeah.
That everybody understood. There was a flow of information, and having him involved definitely took the event and our performance locally as organizers to another level, for sure. And he's coming back this year.
Nice.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And he's now taking on a role doing more of this professionally. For us, it's great. It's another person that come in, and he won't be able to do it forever. So it's for us to learn as much as we can, so that we can take away and do it ourselves going forward, for sure.
Yeah.
He probably watches and go, "What? You don't mean you don't want me back?" It's not the case, Paul.
Oh my God! If Paul Nagel watches this, he needs to find something better to do with his time.
Shut up.
He can't be one of the 30 people that watch. I'm only joking.
But I mean, it's we've always benefited from overseas expertise and the ability to learn, and also people here, whether it's stewards, clerk of the course, anybody, officials, our stage commanders who have been away to training, and who obviously know the local landscape really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it always helps when you broaden your knowledge base and try to implement some of the things you learn overseas. And a lot of that, and of course it all moves, right? It's never static. It's never static, particularly when it relates to things like safety. So all of that has been, it doesn't stop. It's good though. It's good. It's good.
Of course it is.
Well, we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we are,
wait.
man. And
It's the highlight of our year, so
for sure.
a big thing for us.
Definitely. Just as motorsport fans too, regardless of the Rally 2 thing. I mean, Rally Barbados is the pinnacle.
Yeah. Jeremy and I tend to be very busy over that weekend. We share a car for about 10 hours a day. We know our deepest and darkest secrets.
But we make it through.
Yeah, just about.
No, man, but congratulations on the BCIC thing. I'm glad that you guys made that happen. As James said, I'm very, very excited about both King of the Hill and Rally Barbados this year. And just overall, you and the team at the Rally Club that make this a possibility for motorsport fans in Barbados and regional and across the world that come to see this. Thank you. Thank you for the effort.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I mean, as I said, it's a huge team of people, and there is no questioning volunteerism is at the heart of it for sure. We'd love more people to come on volunteers, marshals. We're always short of marshals.
How and where can they do that?
Through Motorsport Services. So contact Michelle King at Motorsport Services for sure.
Okay.
If
you're interested in marshalling, Michelle King, Motorsport Services.
She will definitely take her name down and try and give you a quick course into some marshalling and get involved for sure. But then all the support services, which will be instrumental in all, huge improvements. And I feel such a sense of security working with some of these people. We're a response team, our medical services, as I said, our marshals themselves, our course marshals, our stage commanders who are incredible, our timing teams, records, it's on and on. The club members themselves and the competitors who clearly from the entry, we might be doing something right for them wanting to enter in these kind of numbers for sure. And then, underlining all of this is we've done a lot of work since pandemic and just before, but since pandemic for sure with communities. So making sure that there's a lot more information and communication that goes into the areas that we rally through. They understand that we understand that it's an inconvenience, and we are doing our best to try and run rallies as efficiently as possible, which mitigates against that inconvenience. And once we do that, then generally people are okay-ish.
Right.
We try and work with as much as possible. I mean, there's certain people, like Redman, who runs his shop at the bottom of Cottage on the Hill, for King of the Hill, who wanted to know after we finished running that event if we were coming back there next Sunday. And I had to tell him, brother, not a chance. Maybe check us next year.
He must have done the biggest sales of the year in one day for sure. Yeah. Oh, there was busts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's that type of rural community support, which is it's one of the big positives that motorsport on the island can bring, and rallying in general. Actually, it is a big deal. In saying that, all of it's a big deal. The fact that we do have a world-class facility in Bushy Park where we're able to anchor a lot of this event.
Yeah.
And we're finishing the rally at Vaucluse.
Huh? Man, I'll save that for the end. What?
Yeah, man.
At Vaucluse Raceway?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, details to be announced. But yeah, that's the plan.
Sick.
Okay.
That's the plan.
All right.
The rally's
you forgot about that while we were talking about it.
The rally's in the north, so moving.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
It would be too much of
the main issue actually is spectators. Spectators moving across the island from the north to try and see a stage to finish it. That's It's not. It's a bit of a logistical nightmare. So you actually need to take that into account. I said things like that, right?
One run or two?
TBA.
Okay. I don't know if you can answer this for me, but can I get a top 3 prediction, please?
Top 3 prediction. Holy.
That was James's idea.
I just thought about it.
Sprung that on both of us.
If you're allowed to, well, yeah, of course you're allowed to say. Come on, I just want to hear your thoughts. Top 3.
I can tell you who I think is going to be quick
there you
this
go.
year.
How about that?
You're being a real politician dancing around the question. No?
I know.
All right,
sign them up. What constituency do you live in?
Yeah, but the thing is, right, is that I've seen the entry list in detail. And there are a few that haven't been clicked live yet. Only a very few. But to some extent, I'm not sure. Like, for instance, if Stuart gets a car, right, and it's...
This will be Stuart Maloney.
Where does he will?
How can you bet against him in that car being top 3? You can't. I mean, current generation Rally 2 car, got to be in top 3. I think that Jeffrey Panton is absolutely on his game, and I think people way underestimate how quick he's going to be this year. I think a lot of focus and attention is on Kyle Gregg at the moment because Kyle is beyond spectacular, and I'm not sure that M Sport actually have built that Fiesta to go that fast in a Rally 2 guys. Certainly in the tropics, anyway. I would say that I wouldn't bet against top 3.
Okay.
Those 3 right there.
Well, I like that.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with that too.
2 Jamaicans and a Bajan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. No matter what, man, Rally Barbados is always 1,000 stories because it's so long, it's grueling, and it's just one little slip up and the door can open up wide.
And in saying that, it's...
Look how lucky Patton got last year with the...
Well, he nearly done the car twice.
In one rally. In saying that, it's hard to discount as well some of our regular UK competitors like Rob.
Yeah.
And Rob's form towards the end of last year has been so good.
And he started well this year too.
Absolutely.
He's quick. He's very quick.
Absolutely. He just needs a slice of luck.
Listen, him and Kyle traded times.
This is it.
It was 8 tenths after 8 stages for us. Like
he'll be there.
he was so unlucky last year
Yeah.
at shakedown with that accident.
Brutal.
So unlucky. And there's no doubt that it doesn't shake your confidence. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
He had a really good Rally Barbados last year. By his own admission, he had a good Rally Barbados last year. Drove so well. So, I mean, you know, just needs a bit of luck. Just needs a bit of luck to be there or thereabouts and see what happens. The other thing I'll tell you is I have a suspicion that this event might be partially wet.
Which event?
This.
Rally Barbados.
Oh God.
I have a suspicion that rain's going to play.
Well, that always makes it
Don't
interesting.
wish that. Oh my.
Come on, man. I don't want to
I
deal with
have a
that.
suspicion that rain might rear its head.
You're getting.
You've got a
2020
very
flashbacks.
accurate 5-week forecast going
He's
on
getting-
here that we don't know about.
It's just
He's
one of
getting
those things,
2020
man.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
That's
It's
what
just
this
one of those
is.
things. It's one of those things that you just like, all right, how much longer can we go with a fully dry event? Is it really going to happen in the log average?
I'll take a mixed conditions day.
Oh God, no,
take
that's
that.
worse. I
It is
want to
worse.
be
I'll
wet
take
or
that.
dry.
I know, but I'll take it for one
That's
day.
worse. And not you know, if we're talking, it's not to leave out as well the two-wheel drive thing, right? Oh
I
my
know.
gracious me,
Yeah,
that's gonna be ding dong.
yeah.
Ding dong, whole weekend long. And again, who's, you know, cars hold together and performance wise, who's to say that one of them don't rear their head in the top 5?
Correct.
For real. For real.
I ain't gonna get ripped apart for this, but I find it highly unlikely.
Really?
Highly unlikely.
Why? Oh, because they're just not reliable.
If conditions are
I
mixed,
just
no.
if they're mixed, no chance.
However,
But if it's an all dry rally,
know.
I just look, man. I
You
love
don't see
the two-wheel
Thompson
drive
being
cars,
up.
but I just don't think that they can. I don't think over the course of an entire rally Barbados, that whole thing with a 2-wheel drive being certainly not top 3 and
First
top
day.
5. I don't think so.
I mean, the Saturday with those stages, I bet you.
They might get close, but I ain't sure, dude. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, like, it's on record, so we can look back at it. I'm happy
Yeah,
to
we're
get
gonna,
called
we're
out
gonna
on
clip.
it.
We're gonna clip.
Yeah, you
clip
could.
this.
Yeah, just to get me brassed up on the internet.
action.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I'd be shocked if over the whole rally that one of them end up in the top 5.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked.
One of the
Anything can happen, Jay.
anything
It's
else-
true.
anything
It's
else?
rallying.
I'll leave it one other tidbit before we go. I think you might see a make of Rally 2 car that hasn't competed here before.
A Meg Rally 2 car.
It's either called
It'd
got to
be
be VW.
Volkswagen.
I have no idea.
Then it would have to come from Martinique.
Oh.
I think those boys had talked about it because I know they came to watch last year.
I would like them to come.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only one that hasn't been. Is that no, because we haven't had a.
Well, listen, no one's bringing a Toyota, right? Because no one has one.
No.
Although that would be
Oh my
sick.
God, that'd be wild. No, imagine.
We
We got a roving bear to come down in a rally to
I saw
Yaris.
Chris Ingram put up something about asking him a question. I see someone saying, "Are you coming back to Rally Barbados?" And he said he might be here. So I don't know if that'd be driving.
Watching.
Right.
Hopefully.
Well, I'll
If
make
he comes to drive, oh shit! Sorry.
well, Hayden Patton,
action.
dude. I mean, Hayden is arguably maybe a step up.
Correct.
Like Chris in a.
Chris is in good form.
Yeah.
He just won the first round of the
Bring
BRC.
that.
Yeah. Finishing top 3 or 4th in second.
All right.
Absolutely.
Anyways,
Neil?
we'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate the time.
No problem.
Guys, Rally Barbados, King of the Hill, Rally Show. What are the dates?
25th
6th.
5th, 6th, and
25th is Rally Show.
There you go.
26th, King of the Hill. 31st, Rally Barbados start. Friday night. 1st and 2nd of June.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday.
it's Rally season.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go get it. Thanks
Thanks,
Neil.
Neil.
You're welcome.